Mark Rogers TV, Alabama edition, going to our information source for insight and news and notes. We go to Stephen M. Smith every Wednesday night from Touchdown, Alabama, to help us with the Crimson Tide's preparation for spring practice. So, Stephen, we've been talking positions. We've looked at a number of groups, and we stop at the running back position where Bo Scarborough became a national star with his performance down the stretch, and most significantly in the the SEC championship game, and of course in the college football playoff game against Washington. So Damien Harris, if you just look at the stat sheet, had 1,000 yards rushing. So if you're just going to look at the stat sheet, he would appear to be the guy. Watching the games down the stretch against the better teams, Scarborough appears to be the guy. Can you kind of size those two guys up and how they compare?
Well, number one, Damien Harris is more so Mr. Consistency, if you will. He's a guy at 5'11", 220 pounds now, somebody that's got that quick cut ability in the hole, holds the ball high and tight, a great pass protector in blitz pickup situations, can catch the ball out of the backfield. So he's kind of your 5-tool player, can do everything. Whereas Bo Scarborough is just a hammer. He runs the ball hard in between the tackles, and when he's healthy, his ability to one cut, get to the outside in open space is absolutely spectacular. So whereas Damien Harris, as your 5-tool, do-it-all guy, can pass protect, can catch the ball out the backfield, can run the ball, Bo Scarborough's your hammer, and he's your guy that can escape in open space. Now, Scarborough, I think the reason why he got more playing time than Harris down the stretch is Scarborough's breakaway speed. You're not going to catch Scarborough in open space, despite the fact that he's 6'2", 230 pounds of muscle rumbling down the field, as opposed to Damien Harris, though he's 5'11", doesn't possess that second gear burst that a Bo Scarborough has.
Joshua Jacobs is a guy that first saw significant playing time against a big opponent in that game in Oxford that Alabama hung on to win. He turned in one big rushing play in that game, and he churned out almost a 600-yard campaign with 14 receptions out of the backfield. Here's a guy that I really liked watching run the ball. How much do you think he's going to get into the mix this fall?
I think he's got a great chance of getting even more so into the mix, Mark. You bring up the 567 yards, nearly 600-yard rushing campaign for the freshman, and he was the recruiting GM in last year's class. But what you love about Josh Jacobs, his elusiveness, his ability to make people miss, kind of reminds a lot of people of a young Mark Ingram mixed with Kenyon Drake. When he gets the ball in open space, not one guy is going to bring him down. The ability to put on the jets, make one guy miss, an occasional second guy miss, and get into the open field. That's what really sets Josh Jacobs apart. He also has the ability to step in blitz pickup situations, take on an oncoming defensive end or an oncoming inside linebacker to protect the quarterback. So his speed, his hands, his instincts, definitely going to get him on the field more so next year. As Nick Saban, he's that type of coach that loves to run the hot hand. If Damien Harris is hot, he continues with him. If Bo Scarborough's hot, goes with him. If Josh Jacobs is the guy, you roll with him. And most definitely when you have a running backs coach like Burton Burns who continues to mold these guys, it doesn't matter who has the hot hand. Somebody's getting this ball, and they're going to do something great with it.
Jacobs notched his first career 100-yard game against Kentucky on only 16 carries, and then came back in that route at Starkville against Mississippi State with 9 carries for 89 yards. As Stephen M. mentioned, almost 600 yards rushing as that third back for Alabama. So that goes to show you how significant the rushing totals were for the Crimson Tide, and that just doesn't even play into effect the contributions of Jalen Hurts. So we've got those three guys. They're all proven. They're all high-caliber backs to different degrees. Based on the recruiting class that just came in a few weeks ago, plus who else was on the roster, who do you like? Who do you think could push these top three for some carries?
I think one guy that could push the top three would be Najee Harris, the 5-star from California coming into this 2017 class. A lot of people already kind of equate him to a young Adrian Peterson. He is a bionic human being. This is somebody that came back from an ACL injury like it was nothing, Mark. He was back on the field for the Minnesota Vikings, put up a 2,000-yard season. So if Najee Harris is anything close to Adrian Peterson, watch out. Very, very special in Tuscaloosa. So I look at Najee Harris, but also I look at the fourth back on this roster from last year, B.J. Emmons. He was a 5-star from Freedom High School, Morganton, North Carolina. Got a chance to play some of 35 carries, 173 yards, and he was actually ahead of Josh Jacobs on the depth chart, was starting to get going until a leg injury against Western Kentucky set him back. So how much healthy is he coming into spring ball is also a question, that being B.J. Emmons. But realistically, Najee Harris is the one, in my opinion, that can really come in and push the likes of Harris, Scarborough, and Jacobs for field action.
247 Sports has Harris listed as the second overall back in the nation coming out of high school, number 2 recruit, regardless of position in California. We know how rich the Golden State is in producing college football talent. Brian Robinson, the 6th-rated player in Alabama, number 8 running back as well. And it just astonishes me, again, as we run through the recruits and the rankings and the stars, and then take into consideration that there are already 3 productive backs in the lineup, that guys continue to sign with Nick Saban when it's going to be a fight to get playing time. And we're talking about 4- and 5-star guys that could go somewhere else and almost certainly be the guy.
It's the old axiom that Alabama players are starting to use, Mark. Savages want to play with savages. And the inside scoop on that notion, you want to compete against the best, you want to play with the best, and you want to prove that you belong on the big stage of college football. And a lot of these guys, when they look at Alabama, they see the national championships, they see the talent that Nick Saban puts in the National Football League, and they want to be a part of the process, regardless of having to come in, having to push, fight, and for some, wait for your spot. If you're coming to play and compete with the best, they don't mind waiting. They're excited and wanting to come in and battle.